Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Climb Your Everest Leadership Skills series. This is one of our last sessions. We had one session on Excel. Chandru was so kind. He's actually here in California on the same time zone as me. So for us, it's 7:30 a.m. And he was so kind. He donated his time and energy to wake up on his Saturday night. I'm so thankful, Chandru, for being here to teach us Excel. Let me tell you, I've been using Excel for the past 20 years. And every time I use it, I learn something new. So I think it's one of the most important skills that anybody professional need to know Excel. And I think it's one of those things that you can put you on your resume and will help your current job or future job very much. So I want you to kind of ask all your questions about Excel. If you're not familiar, again, maybe even ask Chandru how I can download Excel. How can I have access to Excel so that I can start playing with it, working on it? And what is your email, Chandru, that I can come email you and ask my question? So I don't know, please don't be shy. Just ask all your questions from the simplest to the most complicated question. I want you to just ask him all your questions because I think Excel will make a huge difference in your life if you know Excel. Like from saving time to organizing things. A lot of you are teachers, so you grade people. Probably you use Google spreadsheet or Excel for that. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Chandru already put his email in the chat box, so please type that out if you have any questions. Thank you for making that available for everyone, Chandru. But with no further ado, welcome everyone. I'm recording this session and this will be provided so you can rewatch it later again and learn more about Excel. All right, go ahead, Chandru.
All right. Thanks for the kind words, Dr. Safari. Hello, everyone. Good to see some of the familiar faces again, and welcome to other folks who I did not meet last time. Hope you all doing good. So last week, towards the end of the session, we recognized that maybe going through Google Sheets will be better because I was using my MacBook and like the appearance and the tool will look different in Microsoft-based laptop compared to Apple-based laptop. So today we'll start off with the Google Sheets. We will do a quick recap of all of the things that we saw last time. And Dr. Safari spoke a lot about why it is important. So I don't want to repeat that. I had it in my agenda as well. But then you all know what we can do with Excel. Then I think it was Unisha's last time who asked about sort and filter, if I'm not wrong. Mm-hmm. So we'll go through that. And I was thinking, what are some of the basic functions that could be helpful for you, like in your regular job? So I have a list of few functions we can go over it. How can we rank our students based on the marks, or if you have a date and then you need to extract the month from the date and things like that. Mm-hmm. You want to know how many people are born in January, but then you only have the dates available. So like some basic functions. And if we have time, we will see some charts. We can build charts using the data, like how the students are performing over different midterm tests. Like, are they doing better than last time? Or are they doing worse? So things like that. Building charts will be able to easily say what is the trend looking like. So time permits. If not, we will cover some questions and we can take all of these offline. There are a lot of amazing videos out there on YouTube. If you have any particular questions or something that you're interested in, then we can, I can point you to some videos which you can watch offline that can help you with this.
That would be great if you can email me the list of videos that they need to watch, and then we can I can email it to everybody to watch them.
Definitely. Yep. Cool. Let me quickly share my screen. And okay, we'll start with the Google Sheets. Okay, so basics. I am on a web browser. I think you all will have access to Chrome if I'm not wrong. So I'm just If you have a Gmail account, this is very simple. You just go into docs.google.com. Yeah, it will pull up something like this. So these are some of the documents that I already have. And particularly when you want to go to a spreadsheet, you go here, there is a right-hand menu here, main menu, you click that and you say sheets, right? It will pull up something like this. And this is the home page for the Google Sheets. And we can do a lot of things from here. If we have some of the sheets that are already open, then we can click on them and it will open by default. Or we can select this folder you see here, and then like there are different things that are available. Like you might not be able to see some of these, but there are things that have been shared with me. There are things that I created. There are things that I can upload from my computer, or I can select browse through my computer. What I'm gonna do for this session in particular is I'm gonna open a file that I downloaded. So let's see. Documents. One second. Let me find it. Okay, it's called private data. Gotcha. So, okay, let's open.
Do you work at Intuit?
I work at Intuit, yes. And I wanted to tell you that the last state of the company, they said the winners are going to have a fireside chat with you. I was like, hey, I know that person.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on 1 second. Let's try again. Okay, let's try this another way. So I have a file that I want to open, but then for some reasons it wouldn't open. So what we're going to do is we are just going to start with a blank sheet. This is very much similar to any spreadsheet interface that you have. You might have seen Microsoft Excel, which is Microsoft's product, but generally this particular tool is called a spreadsheet, right? So quick basics, what is a spreadsheet? It is a combination of rows and columns, and any intersection of a row and column is called a cell. So you go and place your mouse pointer in any of these cells, and the corner if you're seeing, let me zoom in a little bit. View, zoom. Okay. So on the corner on the top, you will see B3. If I go to C3, it will say C3. So it is essentially telling you which cell I'm at. And it is, you can just go into any of these cells and start typing things, So you can be like, okay, you can type in a date, you can type in something, you can start creating a table out of it. Generally speaking, the things that you could possibly do is you will create a table wherein you have your student ID, you will have the student's name and the student subject, and then this what's and which, let's say, exam, subject, and then marks. Right. So like a student could have a roll number, like however you call it, and then say the student's name is Chandru, and this is midterm 1, and then say English, and say Chandru is really good at English and he got 95 marks. Right. So you have things like that you can create, and you can start typing in more and more of this. So you have 101, then you can say for same Chandru midterm 1, say maths, Chandru's average in maths, so say he got 70. Right, so you can create all of these tables, and then you can, if you have your students, and I suppose that you will start creating things like this, and then you will start adding rows, right? So using this, we can do a lot of things in Excel, right? So we will be able to see what is the average of all the subjects that a student has scored, what is the total marks that they have scored, and if you have multiple students, what is the rank of that student based on the total marks or something, right? So before we get into all of those functions, let's quickly go through some basics that we saw last time. So if you want to do any kind of format change, then you have all of these items in here on the top, right? So if you want to make this a table and you want to create a border for all of this, you go click here. It's called borders. And then you can select this and it will create a nice table around this. It already has a table by default because it looks like a matrix. But then if you want to make it really prominent and you want to print something and things like that, you can do that. Then all of the font related changes, you can do it over here. You can make the text bold, or you can make the text italics. You can change the color. You can change it to all of these different colors that are available. And if you want to change the color of the cell, then you can go ahead and change it. What it does is it merges everything. And then I can make it center, and I can nicely create a header out of it. So you can do things like this, and you can change the alignment of your text. So this is left aligned, center aligned. I'm sure you will be aware of all of this using Microsoft Word. And you have a few more options, like, is this a number? Then you can say, okay, this is number format. Or if you want to do it as percentage, then you can select this. And if you can do percentage, it will change it into percentage. But then in this case, this is a number. So we will go back to number. If you want to make a dollar sign out of it, which is if you are dealing with currency, how much fees someone paid, or local currency, or whatever that is, you can do that. And you can go into insert, and you have all of these options here. So if you want to insert a function, even an emoji, for whatever reason you want to do it, you have all of these functions, right? So these are all the basics that we covered last time. The interface looked a little different in the MacBook Excel, but then I think going forward, we'll start using this because you will have everyone will have access to this, and you will all be seeing the same kind of interface. So for the purposes of the other important things that we want to talk about, so this is the file that I downloaded online, which I could find close to the mark, like student-based data set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. This is what I wanted to open, but I couldn't open. So I'm just copying everything and I'm pasting it here, right? Okay. So let's see what all are there in this data set. Then we can start learning some of the functions, right? So we have student name, we have university, what program they are in, what semester, and I think they have scored some marks. in two subjects, like general management score, which is out of 50, and domain specific score, which is out of 50, and they have total score and what is their rank, right? So this is what we are going to do. We are going to use this data set, and let's start with basic sorting, filtering, and all of those things, right? So you came in here and you wanted to know all of the students who studies in Stanford University, right? So you want to filter, like what you can do, what is the normal thing that you can do? Uh, Forget about filtering. So how will you approach this? You will go line by line. Okay, Stanford University. Okay, Camilla Wood. Let's make a copy of this. Okay, this next person is Stanford. Then we have Alexander. Okay, the next person is not Stanford. Let's ignore this person. The next person is Stanford, right? So we go through each and every one and manually tackle this, and then copy one cell into another thing, which is really, really time consuming and tedious, right? So what Excel does is Excel allows us to do all of this easily. Let me stop calling it Excel. Like, let's call it Google Sheets, right? So allows us to do all of this using a simple function. So what I do, I click here, the arrow that you see, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say create a filter. Okay. So what it is doing, it has created a filter. If you see here, so if we click here, it is going to show us all of the different universities that are available, right? You can even type in here and check Stanford, or if you want Harvard, you just start typing, it will start showing the different things that are available. If I want MIT, which is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I start typing in, it will show. So for our purposes, we wanted to do just the Stanford University students, right? So I come in here, I type Stanford and I select Stanford and I say, okay. Oh, it just eliminated Stanford out of it. Okay. So let's clear all of this. Let's say Stanford. Okay. Awesome. So now it is only showing all the students from the Stanford University, right? You can have this filter not just on one thing, but you can have this on multiple columns also, right? So now I filtered all of the students who are studying in Stanford, and I want BCom students only. So what I can do, I can go into program name and do the same thing again. I'm right clicking on program name, and why are you not letting me? Okay, right clicking on program name. Let's remove the filter, right? So let's select these two and let's say create a filter, right? So now, okay, let me quickly show what happened there. I already had a filter on column B. And when I was trying to add a filter on column C, it was not letting me do it, right? So what I'm doing is I'm selecting both column B and C, or actually you can select all of the columns that are available here. And then you right click and say create filter, right? So it's gonna add this filter option across all of the columns. Now it has selected everything. Let's go say Stanford. Whenever you see a check mark on the left side, it means that that particular item has been selected, right? So let's say okay. And now we have Stanford University, and let's say we want all of the BCom students. When you click here, it will show all of the different courses that are available or programs that are available. Let's say clear, and let's just select BCom, right? So now we are able to filter the university, and we are able to filter which program they are studying. And you can do this across multiple columns that are available, right? Based on whatever you're dealing with. One use case could be that, okay, hey, let's see what the student scored. You wanna analyze if a student is performing well over different exams, right? So you select on a particular student, say you select Chandru. and then you see what Chandru scored in midterm 1, then you see what Chandru scored in midterm 2, you'll be able to see, is Chandru getting better or is Chandru getting worse, right? So if I'm getting better, that's good to know, like you're doing a good job. If a student or more students are not doing well, then that is something for us to probe further and see, okay, is there an opportunity for us to do better? Things like that, right? So I will cover filter and I'll take a quick break I'll also cover sort. Then we can take a quick break and take any questions. So now I have all of the Stanford University students and I look here and the names are all over the place, right? So it is not in any particular order. It is, as humans, we are really good when things are in a particular order because it is in alphabetical order or it is in the order of smallest to greatest or greatest to smallest. We are able to easily process things like that. And for that purposes, let's try to sort this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to data and I'm saying sort sheet, right? So what I'm saying is let's sort sheet by column A to Z. What it means is let's sort the names in the alphabetical order. So what it did, it also took the column header and we don't want that, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go back. Go back to data. Interesting. Okay. So I see this is a limitation in Google Sheets. So typically what happens is when you're working with Excel or other tools, so it will consider the first column to be the header and it will only deal with the rest of the columns. Let's try a different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to see if I'm able to sort this, Interesting. Okay, short range. Awesome. So what did I do? Instead of selecting the entire column, so I only selected the data set, right? So I'm selecting this data set. Oh, my bad. Sorry. And let's select this. And we are going to data. And instead of saying sort sheet, we are saying sort range. And we are saying range column A to Z, right? So it arranged everything in the alphabetical order. If you want to do the same thing and go to data, if you want to do Z to A, it will do it in the reverse alphabetical order.
Is it possible to sort them by last name if they are in the same cell, or first name and last name, they have to be on two different cells, two different?
Yes, good question. I mean, Excel cannot, we need to qualify what is the first name and a last name. So in this particular case, the name is a single cell. So if we want to do just by last name, we will have to split this into two names. And then we will be able to sort the students.
Is there
So
a
in this
function for splitting?
Yep, we can do that. I mean, we can. So in this case, we have two names.
Yeah.
So I will let's go over that together. See what we need to do is we need to tell Excel that, hey, look at the space and then take all the characters after the space and call it as last name, and all the characters in front of the space are as first name. So we'll go over that. Good question. Thank you. Okay, let me take a quick pause. I'm not sure if you guys noticed something that went wrong here. I'm just going to do a Control Z. So this is how the name was already, right? So when I'm trying to sort, it sorted the first column. but it did not sort any of the other columns. So what I essentially ended up doing is I changed the data points associated with different students. So it just changed the name here. So in order to avoid this, what we need to do is we need to select this entire thing. Then let's go to data. Let's say sort range, column A to Z, right? Now it changed all of the columns, it arranged all of the data points across all of the columns, right? So you need to be really careful when you're doing this, because if you just select one column and do something, it will neatly arrange that column in alphabetical order, but then the data in the other columns will be misplaced. So watch out for that. Okay, quick pause. Let's see if you have any questions.
I want to know if this is too easy for you or too much. Can everybody say easy or difficult or medium? I want to ask everyone. Dimple, did you know everything he talked about, or everything is new, or is something in between?
Something in between. I
Okay.
used to know at the first that I could sense according to the alphabet. So yes, it is average for me. Mid.
Everest for you? Okay, so it's
Yeah.
difficult then. It's a little difficult. So there's some new stuff and some older stuff. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. How about you, Aslesha?
Ma'am?
Yes. Do you know how much do you know Excel? Is this easy for you, or this is something new?
This is something new for me.
New. Okay. Okay. All right. Are you learning? Is the pace okay? Do you want him to explain it slower?
No, ma'am, I'm learning.
You're
No
learning.
need to explain. I can.
Okay. Good. 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 How about you, Sabine? Are you familiar? How much are you familiar with Excel?
It's okay for me.
It's
I
good.
think I sort of know these things.
Good. 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 So that you can help the everybody else in the class to practice more. I think my internet is slow. Can you guys hear me well? I feel like
I can hear you well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Hi, Sapana. How is it for you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm using Excel for just few for like making mark sheet or like that, but it's average for me.
Okay, it's difficult. Okay. All right, so we'll go through the process a little slower so you guys can kind of maybe it would be less Everest.
Yes, we can watch video later also.
Yes, I'll also please rewatch the video, but we're gonna go a little slower than this then.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay.
Good, good. How about you, Eleanor, Elishma? Do you want to say how is it for you? Purnima, Pratima? Do you know Excel? Oh, Harini is also here.
Yeah, Sarah, I know Excel, but a few things I need to learn in Excel, like additions and if we prepare any specifications or estimations, we do all additions and all. I want to know that part.
Okay.
Little bit I know about Excel.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you. Alishma, Pratima, and Purnima. Are you familiar with Excel?
Yes, ma'am, but it is new thing for me.
Okay, you're familiar, but the things that Chandru is talking about is new for you.
Yes.
Okay, good, good, good. So we'll just go a little slower so that everybody can catch up. So please, any questions from Chandru? Anything he said that you want him to explain one more time? Don't be shy. If there is a part you want to learn, we can explain it one more time. And of course, you can watch the video as well. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. Dr. Safari, thank you for doing this quick assessment. I think, yeah, I was trying to balance not bore people if they already know, and also not make it really difficult for people if they don't know anything. So, okay, whatever we have is good. So we'll take Eleanor's feedback and we will start with some basic math operations, right? So let me open another sheet and copy some of the data from here into that sheet. Okay. It's very simple. Let's say these are two different subjects, right? Let's also insert the column to the left and get the name of the students. Okay, so let's call it, for simplicity, English, and let's call it mathematics. And the maximum score someone can get in a subject is, say, 50, right? So
what do you do when you go up there? I think you do something and column because they
okay, all right, okay. Sorry,
don't skip steps. I'm watching you.
it's habit. Okay. Okay. So when you thanks for stopping me there, right? So when you go and hover between two different columns, right, you see this thing becoming a double-edged arrow. I hope you're seeing it. So
Yeah.
when you click that, when you double click there, what happens is it will automatically adjust the width of the column based on the content that is in the column. Like whatever is the maximum value in the cell, it will adjust based on this. So if I go and click here, if you see, it will adjust to the length of mathematics. Like go here and then do a double click, adjust accordingly. Same thing. If you go here and do a double click, it will adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so say we want to know a total score of each of these students, right? So that Eleanor mentioned, let's say total score. And okay, here is the other cool thing about Excel, right? So I want this total score to have the same value as this, like however this mathematics is looking, because it's a header, it looks very neat, right? And I want this total score to look the same, but then it looks a little different, right? So what we're going to do is going to put a mouse pointer on top of this math, like select the cell C1, and you see this little paint option there, like a paint brush in the top that I am highlighting. It says paint format, right? You click on that and you come and you click on this column. It will change it automatically to however it is looking. Like it is, what it is doing is it is taking the format of the other cell and then it is applying it to our cell, right? And you can keep it, like you can do this across multiple cells or multiple columns, right? Okay, so here we want to know the total of these two, right? So we want to know the total score scored by Aiden Rivera. So what we are going to do is there is this function called sum, right? You would have all heard in your school, sum is a function to do addition, right? So sum of two numbers is essentially adding two numbers, right? So what we are going to do is in Excel, before you type in any formula, you should always start with an equal to, because Excel should know that it has to evaluate this equation, right? So you start with the equal to. The cool thing about Google Sheets is it is already suggesting what we want to do. If you look at it, I did not type this, right? I just said equal to, and Google thought that I might want to add these two numbers, right? Like super cool. So all I need to do is just say enter. And then it automatically creates a sum, right? And let's do the same thing. We want this also. We want this also to look like this, right? So this we saw in last class. When you come over and then hover in the bottom right corner of your cell, right? Your mouse pointer becomes a plus sign. Are you guys seeing it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now another cool thing about Excel is you don't need to type in this formula in each of these different rows. All you need to do is drag it, click and drag it. Now, all of these guys have, it did the same
Eleanor just said,
calculation.
wow, Eleanor, I was watching you. You're like, wow, oh my God, I had no idea I could do this all my life. And then I've been actually calculating.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of hidden from a lot of people. I don't know why, but yeah, it is kind of cool. So
Can we do this one more time from
yeah,
this?
exactly. That's what I'm doing. So going back, let's even delete this guy, right? So I want to get a score of the total. Sorry, I want to add a column with the total score. So what I'm going to do in the total score is I'm just going to say equal to, and then I want a sum. Excel by default thinks that, okay, these two are two numbers, right? Excel knows that the value against English column and the value against mathematics column is an integer because it is 50 and 47. So what it is thinking that, okay, if someone is coming and typing in a formula, very likely they want to do a sum of these two numbers, right? So that's what it is doing. So it is automatically giving us that function to be like, let's go through this function also for you to understand, right? So what it is saying, equal to sum is the name of the function that we are telling Excel to add two numbers. And then what are all the numbers we want to add? We want to add the numbers from column, like from cell B2 through cell C2, right? So the colon here means from this column all the way to this column. If I remove this colon here, right? If I remove this colon in the middle, like I'm going into this, I'm not sure if you're seeing this, I'm going into the, if I click on this, there is this bar on the top. It says sum of B2 colon C2. This bar is called formula bar, right? You can just go and change things there. If I go and instead of colon, if I say comma, it is going to do the same thing, right? Because there are only two columns for us in this case. So say there is another subject for you that is called, let's quickly do that. I'm going to insert another column and I'm going to say, what is the other subject? Let's say science, and say everyone scored the same mark in math and science, right? So now my total has got to be sum of all of these three, right? Whereas our formula says just add B2 and C2. But then we have data in D2 also, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to change B2 colon D2. What it means is from B2 all the way to D2, add all of the columns, right? The other way to do this is you can simply select, do a sum of B2, add C2, and add D2. It will do the same thing. See, it is adding all of these things, and it is even suggesting you to do an auto. I just said enter, and by default, Excel is saying, do you want me to do this across all of the cells? And I'm just going to say, yes, let's do that, right? And what are the other ways of doing it? You can simply say equal to B2 plus C2 plus D2, which is also the same, right? So we are adding three numbers. So these are different ways for us to add the three numbers. You can simply go with the default function that Excel is suggesting, which is what sum of B2, C2, D2, right? Cool. So this is for the sum, right? Now you have all of these people scoring different marks in English, and you want to know what is the average score of all of the students in English, right? Same thing, we are going in here and we are saying equal to, look at that. I just thought and it is doing it for me. So I want to know the average of all of these numbers. Excel knows that I'm doing a column-based calculation. So, and I'm saying this is marks. So Excel thinks that, okay, this guy might be looking for an average, right? which is exactly what I want. So I can just say enter. And what it means is in English, people scored on average 42.78, and then it keeps going, right? It is hard for anyone to read. We don't want these many decimal digits. So what we are going to do is we are going to click on cell B15 and we are going to copy that format and we are going to apply it to this guy. Now it is a number, but then it has a lot of decimal digits, right? There is no point in having decimal digits for average. So what we are going to do is we are going to go here and then in the we can adjust the number format, right? So I'm going here and I'm selecting this 1, 2, 3. It says more format. I'm clicking on it and I'm selecting number. Now it adjusted the entire long decimal digits into 2 digits, right? Now, if you want to have it in 2 digits, you can keep it. Or if you want to have it in 1 digit, I'm going over here again. And if I hover over this button, it says decrease decimal places, right? I click on it, it becomes 1 digit. If I click on it, it becomes a whole number again, right? And I want the same operation replicated across all of the 3 columns. I want the same thing to happen in mathematics. I want the same thing to happen in science. So what we are doing is we are going and hovering over that small blue dot, right? Over here, let's see if I can zoom in further. Okay, we hover over here and then it becomes a plus sign, right? And then we drag the same thing across 2 other columns. Then we get the average score in mathematics is 39. Average score in science is 39 because we copied the mathematics score into science column also. So it has got to be 39. And the average of all students across all of the subjects is 120, right? That's what students have scored in average. So let's say this is average. We'll copy the same format and apply it here. Okay, let's take a quick pause. Eleanor, was this clear or do you have any other questions on this?
Yeah, it is clear, Chandra.
Okay, awesome. Cool.
So for the formula, we can apply sum, multiplication, subtraction, anything.
Anything, you can apply anything. So in this case, whatever we did was sum, right? Say if we want to do multiplication of 3 numbers, right? So we can simply say, if we want to multiply these 3 numbers, we are going to simply say equal to B2 multiply C2 multiply D2, right? And then once you do it, it is going to ask, do you want me to do this across all of the columns? And you just say yes. It will do it for you. And all of the basic operations that you have in a calculator or anything. Okay, going back, Excel is a very sophisticated calculator. That's all it is. I mean, it is, you can just type in anything in any random cell and then do some mathematics out of it. It's as simple as that. So all of the basic mathematical functions that you can do it in Excel. And the signs remain the same. If you want to divide 2 numbers, say if you want to divide 100 and you have to divide 50, so we need to get the output should be 2, right? So what we are saying is equal to 100 divided by 50, it will give you 2. So all of the basic functions that you have, mathematical functions, you can do it on Excel. And it does a few other things, which makes it a very powerful tool. Yeah. So what else did I want to show? Okay, let's do a quick function, right? So I think we went through this result. Let's add another column called result, and let's copy the same thing. So we want to know, I want to know how many of these people passed or failed, right? And say our school has a, your total is for 150 marks, 50 points, or whatever you call it. So, and if someone has scored less than 100, it means they did not pass. And if they scored more than 100, then they passed, right? So we want to know how many of these people passed. So, and like one way of doing it is, like I said, always, okay, this is 144 is greater than 100. So this person has passed. 150 is greater than 100. This person has passed. You can go over it line by line. If you have 10 lines, it's easy. What if you have 1,000 lines? You're not going to waste a lot of time on it, right? So let's not do that. So what we can do is we can write a simple function. Let's say equal to, we'll say if the total score, which is in this column, right, is greater than 100, comma, as I am typing it, Google Sheet is actually guiding you. If you can see, it is asking you to type in the logical expression, which is if the total score is greater than 100, that is my logical expression. Then it is guiding you to put a comma after that. Let's put a comma. And if it is greater than 100, what is the value that we want to give? Pass. Right? Then say another comma. If this equation is not true, which means the student scored less than 100, then that student failed. Right? And it is also saying that we need to add a closing bracket. Now we say enter. Hey, look at that. It automatically does this evaluation for all of the students that are available. And you just say enter. Right? Pretty cool, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same paint copy. And then I'm a little obsessed with things looking the same. So I don't want different fonts in different places. Right? So very neat. So we now know like who passed in all of this, like who passed and who failed, right? Let's look one other thing. Now we have 15 students and each of these students scored different marks, right? We want to know what is the rank based on their mark, which is also something that you will probably use in your school. So let's write a rank function. Let's write a rank. So what we are doing, we want to rank these guys. So I'm typing in rank, right? And then we need to rank based on this. And then this is all the data. Let's see. Bear with me. Is ascending? Yes, true. Let's see what happens. Okay, this person is 11th. Okay. If it is ascending, interesting. This is not how it should work.
False. The ascending, change it to instead of true.
Descending, yes. So Dr. Safari got it. Are you guys awake? Okay. Let's say this. Let's see what happens. Okay, even then, someone scored 150 is getting a rank of 1.
Yeah.
This one.
Failing people are also very high in rank. So
Yeah, like this guy should be rank 2.
yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot of ones and a lot of twos. So
yeah, a lot of ones, and yes, because if 2 people are scoring the same rank, it will do. But then, hey, not every time we will know what we want to do in Excel, right? So we want to know how to ask for help. So what we are going to do is we are going to Google and we are going to ask Google for help. This is also something that you need to know. So what I'm going to do is rank function in Excel, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what Google says. So Excel rank function and other ways to calculate rank. Okay, deny everything. Okay, so this is how we need to rank. So this is what I do too. Like, I don't know something, I go to Google and I ask Google, hey dude, give me some help. So I want to know how the rank function works, right? So it says rank is the field, the value whose rank you would like to find. I think we did with that. A list of numeric values to rank against. It can be supplied as an array of numbers, which is what we did. You remember we selected the total marks, then we selected all of the total marks of all of the students, and then order a number that specifies how to rank. If it is 0 or omitted, the values are ranked in descending order from largest to smallest. Okay, makes sense. There is this other function called rank.eq. It says, if several values are ranked equally, the highest rank is assigned to all such values. So if there are 3 people who scored 150, they all should get the rank 1, right? And then if someone is getting 149, then they will have rank 2. Or let's think about that. If 3 people scored rank 1, if the other person scored 149, do we want them to be rank 2 or do we want them to be rank 4?
4.
4, right? So we have all of these different options that are available that we can use, right? Let's go back here and see what happened wrong. So let's say equal to rank, top rank of a specified value in a data set. Let's do rank.eq. Let's say this value, right? And so we want this data. We want to rank based on this data. And then like in the help article, it said if we do not give any value, it will automatically think that we want to order it by descending value, right? So we can do this. Okay, this makes sense because 150, 150, 149, 146, 144. Yeah, this person scored 5th rank, which is correct, right? So earlier, what was going on is probably, this is a little bit more complicated for you, but then let me still go ahead and do it. When we copied the formula across all of the different cells, what it did is it kind of changed the range of the formulas, right? Okay, let me take a step back. So now I calculated the rank here, and I told Excel that this is the range that you need to use, right? So if you look at this, I added some dollar signs in front of all of these guys, right? If I do not add the dollar sign, let's select this and then let's drag it to another row, right? It says E1, which is correct. But if you look at the range of the values, right? So we have data from E2 all the way to E15. But when I drag the formula, it changed from E3 to E17, which is incorrect, right? And if I copy it further, it is gonna say E4 to E18, right? Based on, as we are dragging it down and down, Excel is shifting this window down and down. We don't want that to happen because our data is fixed in this particular set of rows. So that is why to tell Excel that, hey, don't change this range based on the value. This range has to stay consistent. That is why we add this dollar signs. What we are telling Excel is that, hey, these are absolute ranges, so don't change that range. I want you to stick to that range. Now, when I add the dollar sign based on the range, like I'm adding a dollar sign in front of each and every row value and a column value, right? So I'm adding a dollar in front of E, adding a dollar in front of 2, in front of E, and in front of 16.
Sign is really fixing the range throughout.
Boxing.
Okay, boxing.
Yep, we are essentially telling Excel that don't change my window,
Okay.
right? You're smart, I know, but then don't do it this time,
Yeah.
right? So, and let's say enter. There you go. So now, if you look at, if you go down, it all remains consistent. So last time we did not have this. So that's why we had the rank in weird ways, right? So now let's go back to my OCD thing. Let's set this up. And let's neatly organize this. And so we can do it across. Oh, come on. We can copy this and we can do this across multiple cells. Okay.
Okay, your computer is telling you to go.
My computer is my computer is playing with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Can you just sort them to give it like a clear view? Sort by rank or total?
yeah,
or
we will sort by rank. Okay. Harini is here.
Yeah.
Harini, we need to slow down, Harini. Okay. We did something wrong. So we rank based on the average also. One of the guys is not going to be happy.
Mhm.
So let's change it to E15.
Right.
And okay. Oh, come on. Okay. By the way, I'm not playing with you. You guys, let me seriously. Okay. Let's go slow. Okay. Okay, this is better. All right. Cool. So now let's delete this row. Okay, now we know all of the people who scored marks, and Harini and I, we are friends, and we both are very competitive, and we want to know who scored first. So that person's name should come on the top, right? We don't want this to be in different ways. So let's quickly do a sort based on the rank, which is something that you will do probably in your school assignments too. So let's go back here, and then let's select all of these. Let's select all of these guys, right? And let's go to data, sort range, and look at that. It is asking, like, do you want to sort by column G, which is what we have in column G is rank. So then we will say column G, A to Z. You might be wondering, hey, column G has numbers, but then you're saying sort column G to A to Z. In this particular scenario, consider A to Z as like alphabetical order or smallest to largest, right? So it is, we can use it across smallest to largest or just in terms of alphabetical orders. In this situation, I'm going to consider this as smallest to largest, and I'm going to say A to Z. There you go. Okay, now let's do an undo and see. Okay, first is, it says Aiden Rivera is on the top and Zoe Jenkins is on column 15. Let's see if it did what we wanted it to do. We'll do A to Z. Okay, Alexander came to the top and Zoe Jenkins went to number 14. And okay, look at that. We have two people who scored first rank. So there is no second rank holder because there are already two people in front of this person. So 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2 people who scored 7. Sorry, who ranked 7. So there is no 8. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what we wanted. Okay, I think we are at 8:30. Let's take a quick break and see if there are any questions.
Any questions? Makes sense.
Like how to give a print or make it as a PDF format.
Okay, good
If
question.
you-
Glad you asked. So first, let's give this a name, right? So on the top, if you come here, it says untitled spreadsheet. So let's say midterm 1, right? Let's say midterm 1. Now, if you want to print this, you go to this, hover over this, it says print. Are you seeing this icon? Eleanor? Yep, okay. You can select this and it will show you this window, right? So now you can select how you want to print it. Landscape means like this. I hope you know, in like a photo.
Yes.
Portrait is this, the
Portrait.
longest one.
Right.
Yeah. So if it is horizontally arranged, it is landscape. So if I say portrait, it will do this, like, right? It is still fitting in. And in this case, doing landscape will be better. And like I can say next and just say print, it will print if your computer is connected to a printer. If you want to save it as a PDF, what we are going to do is we are going to go to file, right? And okay, go into download and you can say PDF. You say PDF, it's gonna do the same thing, like whatever we did, right? So instead of printing, you will have all of the same options and you just say export. It will ask you where to save this, right? Let me save it and show you. It opened. There you go. Okay, it created a PDF out of it. If there are multiple sheets or the sheet is long, it will keep on adding the pages like below. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for asking that question. Anything else?
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I have a feeling this this might continue on to after when I'm back in October from my Nepal trip in October. We maybe start building up on top of that, and I have a better understanding of. Harini is doing some technology literacy workshops for people, so we do surveys afterwards. So we're gonna have a better understanding of where to go from here and how often we want to do this. But thank you so much, Andrew, for your time. Thank you for giving us your Saturday morning. We all really appreciate it. So everybody has Chandru's email up there in the chat. So please, if you have any questions, you can always reach out. Yes, Chandru, I'm talking on your behalf, actually.
No, you can always reach out. Of course, I'm super glad to be sharing this knowledge and helping others. So anytime I would be really, really honored to help you. So feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much. Let me stop the recording here.